Proposal 3, or the so-called 25 by 25 proposal, boils down to this: vote yes and you support a constitutional amendment that would force utilities to obtain at least 25% of their electricity from renewable energy resources by 2025. The proposal has diehard supporters and opponents, and it's bringing out the big spenders. In the last reporting period, which ended in July, the opposition group Clean Affordable Renewable Energy for Michigan Coalition raised just over $5.9 million to fight the proposal. State records show nearly $5.8 million came from DTE Energy and Consumers Energy. On the support side, Proposal 3 sponsor Michigan Energy Michigan Jobs had raised close to $2.3 million. It's important to note nearly $1.8 million came from out-of-state clean energy advocacy groups in New York and San Francisco. The largest in-state contributor was the Michigan League of Conservation Voters. They gave $450,000. Local supporters defend the out-of-state funding.
There are not major interest groups that are well-funded to the likes of DTE and Consumers that will fund from Michigan to make this happen. There are a number of funders in Michigan, but they're small donors, small businesses, individual donors that just don't compare when you look at the kind of millions and millions of dollars that are being invested by the utilities.
But why are the utilities dumping millions of dollars into this race? Well, the Northern Michigan Chamber Alliance says it's to save the companies billions down the road.
It really does tie the hands of our utility companies to achieve those mandates, and they're going to have to invest upwards to $10 billion to make those achievements happen, and who's ultimately going to have to pay that cost is going to be the citizens and the businesses of Michigan.
That $10 billion estimate comes from a study conducted by Michigan State University. Cost aside, there are other concerns surrounding Proposal 3. Opponents don't like the idea of locking a 25% standard into the state constitution. Also, they worry that in an attempt to meet that goal, Northern Michigan's beauty would be compromised.
The Lake Michigan shoreline is obviously the best wind in the state, and if that proposal should happen to pass and we have to comply with that regulation to have that alternative energy, it could require the state to come in and override local zoning in order to meet that goal.
The Michigan Land Use Institute says Proposal 3 will not result in the defacing of Michigan's shorelines. Executive Director Hans Voss points out, currently, Michigan's largest wind farm is located directly in the middle of the state in Gratiot County.
Rural farm communities in central southern Michigan are actually some of the most productive wind sites in the state. So it's not necessary that wind turbines are set in fragile locations and scenic locations.
One final note on Proposal 3, if passed, it will increase your utility bills. It will also create jobs. Both sides agree on that, but studies reviewed by the Michigan Truth Squad show that opponents tend to overestimate the cost increase. Supporters overestimate job creation. For 7 and 4 News, I'm Brody O'Connell.